You want to see a comment section go sideways fast? Just say the word patriarchy, even in a calm or neutral tone. Then watch the comment section light up. I mentioned the word patriarchy once, calmly. In my video, the rules are made up, the system is rigged, and everyone is faking it. I'll link it above and below in the description if you want to see the context in which I used the word. So anyway, suddenly I was the villain in a movie they made up in their heads. It's honestly kind of fascinating and predictable. If you bristle at the word patriarchy, if you think it means all men are bad or that women are blaming men for everything wrong in the world, then I'm asking you, with respect, put your ego aside for a moment and just listen to what I have to say. I'll say it up front that this is the one and only video I'm going to make on this subject. This is not a political channel, and I don't want to turn it into one. In fact, I don't even think this is a political topic, or at least it shouldn't be. But when I say patriarchy, it doesn't mean I'm saying all men are bad. It doesn't mean women are never in charge, and it doesn't mean that your grandma didn't run the household. It's not about individuals, it's about systems. Patriarchy is the water that we're all swimming in. We've always been swimming in it. It's the rule book that tells us who gets taken seriously, who is expected to serve, who should sacrifice, and what it means to be a man or be a woman. It doesn't have to be written into law to be real. It just has to be enforced, and it is enforced through culture, tradition, and fear. Here's the thing, when some men hear the word patriarchy, they think that I'm accusing them personally. They take it as you're the problem, when really what I'm saying is the system is the problem. And their defensiveness honestly kind of proves the point. If the system wasn't real, if they weren't invested in it, they wouldn't feel so threatened when I call it out. Like if I were talking about the purple people eater, which obviously isn't real, no one would be lighting up my comment section with insults. So if it isn't real, why are you so upset? I want to talk about how patriarchy doesn't just privilege men as a group, it breaks men as individuals. Here are the ways patriarchy harms men too. Health and longevity. Patriarchal norms pressure men into taking risks with their health. It discourages them from seeking medical help or therapy. Men are statistically less likely to see a doctor when they're sick. They're less likely to seek mental health support. They're more likely to stop taking their medications. They're less likely to take time off for work or rest. And globally, men's life expectancy is 3 to 4 years lower than that of women's. Patriarchy contributes to that gap in a big way. Also, emotional isolation. From childhood, boys are taught to man up, don't cry, be tough, don't be weak. This disconnects them from their emotions. It disconnects them from meaningful friendships. It disconnects them from forming bonds, deep bonds with their partners. That emotional numbness shows up later in loneliness, depression, and sadly suicide. Society pushes them to be strong but not human. So also toxic masculine behaviors. Patriarchy demands toughness, dominance, stoicism, and that breeds homophobia and misogyny. It breeds violence as a proof of manhood, and also substance use to cope with it all. Next, there is devaluing caregiving and vulnerability. If you want to be a stay-at-home dad, a nurse, or an elementary school teacher, that's not man's work. Opening up about mental illness, told to suck it up. You want to show emotion instead of aggression, you're viewed as weak. Even in crisis, men's vulnerability is punished not supported. All right, the real cost. Let's look at the draft and war. Look at history. Young men were drafted to Vietnam, for example, and it was often the poorest and the least advantaged. Their bodies were seen as disposable for a system that they didn't control. That is patriarchy in action. If you're a man and you hate being boxed in, shamed for crying, or pressured to provide at all costs, then that's patriarchy hurting you too. So let me say it again. Patriarchy doesn't serve most men. It uses them. It dehumanizes them too, just in different ways. This isn't about hate. It's about understanding. And if you can't listen to a gray-haired woman tell the truth about her own life experience without getting defensive, maybe the problem isn't what I'm saying. Maybe it's that deep down, you know I'm right. When I say the word patriarchy, I am not blaming you. I'm saying we've all inherited a system that's outdated, harmful, and in desperate need of an overhaul. And if you're someone who doesn't benefit from this system, regardless of your gender, if you've ever felt crushed by the expectations placed on you because of your gender, then guess what? You're not the enemy. You're exactly who this conversation is for. Because we can't build something better if we can't even name the thing that's broken. So yeah, I said patriarchy, and I'll keep saying it. Not to provoke, not to divide, but to shine a light on a system that's long overdue for a reckoning. And if the word alone makes you angry, maybe ask yourself why. And let me end with this. I'm not here to be divisive or to cause conflict. I'm here to speak the truth of my experience and to share what I've learned over my 55 years in case it might help someone else along the way. I'm here to put good and love into the world. And if something that I say doesn't sit right with you, I respectfully ask that you just move along. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and I don't want to be. But please remember this. We've all lived different lives. We've all seen the world through different lenses. And whatever you think you know about that group, the one that you've been told to fear, hate, or resent, is probably more complicated than you've been led to believe. When I say patriarchy, I'm talking about a system that concentrates power at the top by keeping the rest of us divided, distracted, and playing roles that we didn't choose. A system that teaches men to suppress emotion, women to shrink themselves, and all of us to measure our worth by outdated, impossible standards. I'm not saying men are bad. I have 3 sons, and they are all kind, intelligent, loving men. My father was one of the gentlest souls I ever knew. I love men, and I believe men deserve better than what patriarchy has given them, too. So if you're still here, thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video, and it won't be about patriarchy.